Welcome. I am Shawn Lemieux, and I am the director of the Talking Book and Braille Library. And we're here today to talk about bridging the gap. I actually wanted to explain to you, I'm going to tell you two stories. I'm going to tell you a story at the beginning, and then I promise I'll tell you a story at the end. I have low vision, and I did go through grade school, middle school, high school, and then I went to college. I went right to college. And there was a huge gap, like the Grand Canyon size gap in what I was able to do in high school and then what college expected of me and how I had to advocate for myself. So I became my own advocate pretty much overnight. So I also say that to say that in the beginning, like in kindergarten, they put me in a grade called pre-first twice, not just once, twice, because I couldn't read. Well, imagine that. I couldn't read, and so they held me back. I can't imagine. And I'm really glad they did, because without that, I wouldn't be the director of the Talking Book and Braille Library right now, because you do need a master's degree to do this job. So as I said, I'm Shawn, and we're doing the resources for students who have print, visual, and/or physical disabilities. The New York State Talking Book and Braille Library is a division of the New York State Library. We are also a regional library coordinated by the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled, otherwise known as NLS BPD, which is NLS as a National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled. And then we provide playback equipment, we provide accessories and audio and Braille books and magazines. And I'm going to provide a little more information about that as we go. There are two libraries for the blind in New York State. The Talking Book and Braille Library serves Westchester and North. So we start at Westchester and we go all the way north. And then the Andrew Heiskell Braille and Talking Book Library serves New York City and Long Island. And so the difference there is that we have a really big geographic reach, and our people are disparate. But then New York City has a smaller geographic reach, but they have a larger population. So it works. So we do a lot of online programming, and they do a lot of in-person programming. So the Talking Book and Braille Library is a service for people who have low vision, no vision, a physical disability, or a print disability that prevents them from reading the printed word. And so the cool thing about this is that our reach has expanded in the past couple of years, because in prior years, if you had a print disability, you have to have it signed off by a doctor, as in a medical doctor. But now it can be signed off by any of the people that are known as certifiers, which you'll see later as our service, if you want to apply for our service. So these are people that we serve all across the state. So students can apply for service. And this is kind of where I make the leap from high school to college and back again. Because our service isn't just for school, but it can help people so much in school. So if you apply using our institutional library application, which is on our website, you have to have it approved by a competent authority. So those are any of you, all our competent authorities. There are librarians, teachers, counselors, social workers, reading specialists, school psychologists, and administrators. And you can submit the application by email, fax, or the United States Postal Service. So the way we try to do it with students is we want the student to apply individually. So I'm Shawn, and I would apply for the service individually. However, I'm Shawn, and I work for Syracuse University, who's serving students with disabilities, and I'm going to apply for that service through Syracuse. So the institution is the umbrella agency, and then the students have their own membership, and that's because we want to provide continuity of service. Because, you know, people move, there are holidays, there are long summer gaps. So what happens is if a student has an individual account, they have it forever and always until they stop using the service. And under an institutional account, you can serve them, your institutions can serve them, but then when they're not in school anymore, they still gain services. So types of institutions that can apply are public libraries, P through 12 schools and libraries, college libraries, healthcare facilities, veteran organizations, and rehabilitation centers. Now, let me tell you about rehabilitation centers. You're probably thinking, oh, this is one of those things that people go and they stay for a little while. Well, we are talking about those, but we're also talking about rehabilitation centers. Like, let's say somebody had a stroke and they can't move their arms, they can't hold a book. They could apply for our service. Let's say they get better and they can then use their arms again, then they don't need our service anymore. So you can temporarily become a patron of our service. We hope you don't like break both of your arms at the same time, but if you ever need any service like that, we can serve you on a temporary basis as well. So the service of the students is the library service is at home and it's individual service. So it's recreational reading, using their personal account and that sort of thing. And then the library service at school, i.e. the institution, you will provide books for class, projects, recreational reading, and in the school using the institution account. You can have many more people than just one person. It's nice to have one person on the institution account because we serve entire school systems. And so we want to know who that person is to talk to. But if you're in a different school, you can apply. And then what we do is we give each person that's going to download books or order books for a student, we give you all an account. So what happens after you apply for service? Well, let me just go back 10 seconds. And you apply for service by going to our website, and you can fill out our application and print it out and mail it to us. You can print it out and fax it to us, or you can save it as a document and send it to us via email. So that's how you would get the applications first, the institution application and it's called adult application and it's adult and children application. It's the same application for adults and still students. And then we have a separate institution application. And then once you do that, the TBBL staff will get that application and they will enter it into our circulation system and they'll create a patron account. So if you're just applying for a student, they'll get their account. If you want to, for recreational reading and outside. If you're applying for the institution where you're going to facilitate the service, then we would fill out the institutional application and we would give you the institutional account, which means multiple people can have access to it to download books and to order books and things like that. And after that account is created, library staff will contact the patron and answer any questions. And we contact via phone. We also send out a welcome packet and a welcome email. And then our readers, advisors, and our staff are always available to help. If our reader advisors, they're the first line of communication, but if they don't know the answers, they will pass those questions on to one of the librarians and we will be able to answer those questions, hopefully. If not, we're librarians, we know where to find it. So I'd like to talk to you about the reading materials. We have talking books, we have Braille books, we have fiction and nonfiction, we have magazines, we have music appreciation and scores, books in multiple languages, and we do not lend textbooks. So I'm going to go into this a little bit. The fiction and nonfiction is pretty self-explanatory. The magazines, we have one or two kids magazines, and then of course we have Wired. So if high school or college are interested in technology, they could get that magazine. And then the music appreciation, it's more learning about music and learning how to play music than it is actual pop or music. There isn't a lot of actual music in the collection. However, you can get snippets of music in that collection. And then the books in multiple languages, we have, I think there's now 20 multiple languages that NLS, the National Library Service, produces books in. Definitely Spanish, definitely French. We also have a very large Italian population, and we've been asked about the Chinese language as well. So if you have a question about our services and you have a person that uses another language as a primary, you can ask us and we will let you know what we have available. So there's 3 or 4 different ways that you can access our service. The first way is through the United States Postal Service. So we send materials automatically based on reading levels, subject areas, and format. And when a book is returned, another one goes out automatically. And then we also have it so that you can select specific titles by submitting requests through our online catalog or by contacting our library directly. Our online catalog is really neat. You can dig down into, you can separate it into Braille books, into digital talking books, then you can go into fiction and nonfiction, then you can go by author. But the neatest thing is you can go by, is it a recent book? Is it not a recent book? How long it is, length, language. So you can use, it's a really good search engine. So on the screen is some pictures of a person reading a Braille book. And then we have a collection of our print Braille books. And print Braille books are made such that there's a picture and there's words, and then there's a clear piece of plastic with Braille on it so that people who are blind can read books with their sighted buddies, or or vice versa. If you're sighted and you want to read something with your blind grandchild or whoever, you can do that too. So it's a very large collection, and it's a lot of picture books, a lot of that sort of stuff, and then we go up to chapter books, and then of course young adult and adult books. This is another way to get our service. We have a talking book player. So this is referred to, it's a picture of a digital talking book player. It's about the size of a small shoebox, and it's about 1.5 inches tall. And it has very bright buttons on it, and they all have tactile marks on them, so you can feel the difference in them. So we can have a talking book player. That's one of the ways you can get our services. There's actually several ways, and you can do more than one way at once, which I will get into in a little while, in a bit. So we have the talking book player. The National Library Service offers a high volume player, and this player isn't just for everybody. It's for somebody who really doesn't hear well, because if a person who has average hearing tries to access that, they'll hurt their ears. So it has to be signed by an audiologist, and then it gets sent to the National Library Service, and then you get the high volume player and headphones. We send out headphones. We have breath switches, and the only thing the breath switch does is turn the player on and off. So you'd have to have somebody else to help you with the other controls. We also have a remote control. So if the machine is on one side of the room and you're in the other, you can use the remote control to stop, start, and move along the books in the player. And the remote control looks almost exactly like the player. And then download accessories. So you can download from the internet, and I will show you those in a minute. So the third way to get our service, or I lost count, is our duplication on demand service. We just changed last year, so it still feels really new to us, so forgive me for bragging about it. It's what it is used to in the past, we would send up to 30 cartridges with one title on them each to a patron. Well, now we can send one cartridge with up to 25 books on it to a patron. So we're sending less cartridges, but there are more titles on them. And students have access to the entire audiobook library. So they have anything Braille, anything audio, all of our magazines, our foreign language, and our latest released books and our most popular books. So those go through our circulation system, and we can order any book from our collection at any time as long as it's available in our actual circulation system. But we don't have to actually pull a book out, put it in the mail, send it to you, that sort of thing. We automatically duplicate it and put it on cartridges, put titles on cartridges. And the neat thing is there's no wait lists for any books. So imagine being somewhere where you can just be 3 o'clock in the morning, you can be talking to somebody and you say, hey, I really read this really good book, and you can go over to the catalog and search for it and see if you can get it. And then you would order it from the catalog, or you could call the library, or you could send in a request, or we can download it for you and send it to you via the United States Postal Service. We are not responsible for how fast or slow the United States Postal Service operates. They are on about a 2-week delay right now. So if you are ordering from Buffalo, we need to tell you that it's going to take a little time. Of course, I ordered from Menands the other day. Menands is outside of Albany, and it took a week and a half. So they're not selective. It's pretty much everywhere. So the neat thing about this new service called Duplication on Demand is that we send 3 to 5 cartridges with 6 books on them. And the 6 books is a starter point. We do that so that people can get used to the system and moving between books and playing what they want. But as I said, if 25 books will fit on the cartridge, and usually that depends on the types of books you're reading, whether they're large or small. And you can fill it up to 20 or 25, sometimes 30 titles. And then 3 books, just 3 Braille books to start. And we can do that 2 ways. We can send those Braille books on automatic selection, which means you tell us the subjects that your students are interested in and like and need to learn about, and we then send you books about those subjects. Or we have list only, which means you're only going to get when you call us and tell us you want the next book, that's all you're going to get. If you don't call us and tell us you want another book, you will not get one. The lending period for books is, for the audio books, the digital talking books, 0. You can keep that cartridge until you're finished with it and then return it. The key, however, is if you do not return the cartridge, you do not get another one. So you have to return the cartridge at some point in order to get more. And then Braille is 30 to 60 days. And really the reason for that is because Braille is an awfully big medium, and it does get sent through the United States Postal Service. And there's only 1 or 2 copies in the library of a book. So you have to get that back from one patron to send it to another patron. So now I get to talk about my favorite feature, which is the Braille and audio reading download service, otherwise known as BARD. So BARD is an interface, and it's on the internet, so you can access it almost anywhere. Now, you do have to apply. So you apply for our service, the Tibble service, then you need to apply for the BARD service because it's a separate, separate way to search the collection. So you have to apply. Literally, it takes 2 minutes. It's what library are we? What device are you going to use? Where are you from? And who are you? And that's it. And then usually the same day, our BARD administrator will approve it and send a welcome email with all the information to access BARD. So BARD is available 24 hours, 7 days a week, as long as their system isn't down, which I have to admit at the beginning was a lot, but now it's every 6 months. So you can download books and magazines in audio and electronic Braille. And what that means is if you're a Braille reader, you can download the Braille ready file to a Braille aware device and read it without having to be sent physical Braille through the mail. So to download through BARD, you have to have an iPhone, an Android device, or a Kindle device. And you can do it through Bluetooth, or you can do it through internet, or you can do it Bluetooth, internet, and download it to a cartridge. And then from the cartridge, you put it in the player. So you can access thousands of audiobooks and magazines. There are no wait lists. There are no loan periods. We also do not charge any late fees, but you still need to return your stuff so that other people can have it, but we don't charge any late fees. And then new books are added weekly, and you can download using a computer or a device, as well as all the other things I mentioned. And then this platform is accessible. Not every book lending agency, an audiobook and digital book and that sort of thing, their platforms, not all of them are accessible. So this program was specifically designed to operate with screen readers and screen enlargers. So on the screen is downloading accessories that you would use. So on the left, there's an image of that looks almost like the digital talking book player, and it is what the iOS or Apple device looks like to download. And then there's a player with a USB thumb drive in the right of it, which means you could download your books onto a thumb drive. So if you had a student that needs, Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, you can download that and then put it on the cartridge, and then the cartridge or a USB drive, and both of those can go in the player. So the USB drive goes on the right, and the cartridge goes in right near the green play stop button. There's only one way for it to go in, and the cartridge goes in there. And then you can listen to your heart's content. And we will send you a cord if you'd like to download books, and we can send you a cartridge as well. So in the coming year, the National Library Service is going to have refreshable Braille displays. I'm just going to give you a little background on that. Refreshable Braille displays are normally $3,000. So it's a high price item. So not everybody has access to it. So the National Library Service is doing a pilot program right now where they got that price down to $450 or $500 per device. And after the pilot program, they're going to start loaning these devices out to Braille readers. So if you're a Braille reader, instead of getting the book through the United States Postal Service and having it take 3 weeks, you can hook this refreshable Braille display up to a phone or a computer or whatever your electronic device is of choice, and then download the books through Wi-Fi or through a connection and read them. And so I'm really tickled about the fact that they're really going to be giving us devices that we would be able to use. We won't just use it just to read. It'll be something a lot of people can use in many other situations. So the BARD apps. So I've gone over this a little bit, but I will just hit the highlights. It's free. Our service is free. Everything we do is free. You get things mailed through the United States Postal Service for free. You can mail it back for free. You have to be a member of the Talking Book and Braille Library first. Then you can apply for BARD, which is just a quick online application. And the app provides access to more than 100,000 books. And those music scores and things, you can download those as well. And they have a speed button, so it doesn't sound like Mickey Mouse when it fast forwards. It's just regular speed, then tone, and screen contrast, and a large font size. That's the BARD interface. So we also provide additional resources being resources that we don't actually host, but we recommend, that we're partner agencies, I guess you could call them. And so one of the partner agencies is Learning Ally, and this is a really important service for you. So the Talking Book and Braille Library is your enjoyment, your literature, your magazines, your music, that sort of thing, your foreign languages. Learning Ally is access to textbooks, bestsellers, children's books, career resources, and more for individuals with reading barriers. The books are available in ebook, audiobook, and Braille formats. I will tell you, back in a long time ago, I used Learning Ally to get through college. I needed books, and I used the Disability Services Office and they talked to Learning Ally and got the books for me. Learning Ally most of the time is free if you're affiliated with an institution that has an account. So if you're affiliated with the university or a high school or whatever, if they have an account, you're affiliated with it, you get your service for free. Afterwards, you'd have to pay for your service, and some states pay for it on their own. So New York is one of those states that if you're in a school, they'll pay for it, but if you're not, then you have to purchase Learning Ally on your own. And it's used to, it was $75 a year, but I don't know what it is now. And then Bookshare is another one of these audiobook services that provides a large audio library where their titles are for recreational reading and classroom use. So as I said, you could get one of the books that you're reading for English class or literature class or anything like that, and then read it and then have access to it during the whole time that you're talking about it. And Bookshare is entirely free, and it does apply, it does have another application service, but if you qualify for our service, you qualify for Bookshare. And so what that does for you is you get free books. And the state of New York has, the Andrew Heiskell Braille and Talking Book Library has been gracious enough to pay for those accounts for our patrons. So you can have a Bookshare account as well. NFB Newsline is a really neat resource. It's created by the National Federation for the Blind, and it's a free service for those who cannot read regular newsprint, and they offer access to newspapers, magazines, and other resources. Some of the other resources are really neat. If you're teaching maybe economics and you're talking about coupons and how those work, there is a channel on Newsline that you can go and listen to coupons from different stores. So during when everybody else is seeing those big Thanksgiving circulars, Newsline has it so that you can hear those. And then they have another service where you can log in and use your zip code, and you can put your zip code in and you can search for jobs. You can get the cable company that you're with and download and listen to the channel listing. So if you're looking for something specific to watch, you can listen to those. And you can also use it through the internet and through an app. So that service, and that is absolutely free. And anyone who qualifies for our service qualifies for the NFB Newsline, and we can sign you up for that. And then some of you are probably aware that there is a resource center for the New York School for the Blind and Visually Impaired, and they provide assistance with requesting textbooks in Braille and or large print for eligible students. So just to recap, and then I'm not done yet because I've got some things that I just want to jump off to, but can a school borrow books for multiple eligible students? Yes, through the institutional account. Can a school become a Talking Book and Braille Library member to help serve students with reading disabilities? Yes, students with reading disabilities can qualify for our service. The actual phrasing is perceptual or reading disability. Then, if a student has a personal Talking Book and Braille Library account, can they keep the account after graduation? This says yes, but I'm going to go with absolutely. Can several educators in the same school have a barred downloading account? It says yes, absolutely. And if a student does not have a wireless device, can they still download books? Yes. If they don't have a wireless device, they can download books onto a thumb drive, onto the cartridge, through a computer, and then play it in the player. So we're looking toward the future of our service, and things are changing rapidly. We've gotten this new Braille pilot program. We've gotten this new the downloading on demand program where we can get more books in patrons' hands faster. And so I wanted to talk about some of the things that, looking into the future, we will still provide, and they're an advantage for people who use our service. So we provide lifelong services, lifetime, as long as we're taking one book out a year and have a player, or just one book out a year and you're using Bard, you can have our service. And then we support lifelong learning. We have this interesting series called the short story about, or the short story of newspapers, or the short story of magazines, that sort of thing. And we have over 500 of those titles. And then we new initiatives and pilot programs. And I was going to tell you about one of the pilot programs. One of the other Braille pilot programs that the National Library Service just started is they're giving every person in our service who uses Braille one hard copy Braille book per month. So I'm learning Braille, so I want to go and get a book that's just in grade 1 Braille and work on reading it. And I want to keep it. So you can keep it. You don't have to send it back at all. So that's kind of a way to give, because we're a lending library. So we ask for that Braille back. So if it's a book that you really want to access again, the National Library Service will, there's an order form and everything like that, and you can contact us and I'll get you that information and order Braille books, but you have to be a patron of ours. And then we support new assistive technologies such as the refreshable Braille display. So how you can help us and how we can help you. The first thing is certify eligible institutions or students. Without those certification papers, we can't move forward. And they're not hard. It just, they have some subjects that we want to know about. They have whether you want some exclusions, that sort of thing. And then we'd like you to communicate big changes. Like this new Braille pilot program is a big thing. Braille is not a cheap resource. So a lot of people don't have the means to purchase Braille. So this is a way to get that Braille in patrons' hands. And then serve as our ambassadors. The Talking Book and Braille Library is one of the most well-kept secrets in the state. Also, well, the Braille book, also Andrew Heiskell. Many people call us and say, we had never knew you existed. And so we really want to spread the word, especially since now we opened up the service for people with print disabilities so they can have more access, and it's not prohibitive to go to a doctor to have that signed off on. You can go to one of the people who's on the certifying list and have them sign off on the application. So that is a wonderful thing. And we would really appreciate any outreach you can give. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about this service. So we're here to help. We are the New York State Talking Book and Braille Library. We have an email address, which is tbbl@nysed.gov. We have a toll-free number that is 1-800-342-3688. And our reader advisors and our librarians answer the phones from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. And then the librarians are here from 9 to 5 p.m. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to use that number and call us and get in touch. And then our website, which I'm not going to read because it's a little long, but if you need to know our website, call us and we'll get that for you, or look it up. If you just put New York Braille and New York Talking Book and Braille Library into Google, it'll come up. We also have outreach materials. So on the left-hand side of this slide is a book that is one of our programs. It's called a brochure, and we have that program. And so if you want to give that to students or give that to any other librarians or any teachers or anybody that you think would love our service or could talk about our service to other people, we can send you the brochures, we can send you applications, we can send you bookmarks, all sorts of things. One moment, please. So I promised you that I would talk to you about, I would tell you 2 stories. And I have just enough time to tell you about the second story. The second story is when I decided to go to high school. That wasn't a decision, that was a forced thing. When I decided to go to college, I was the first person in my family to go. I wasn't the first person to go to college. I was the first person to ever graduate from college. And so that was a big deal. And then I had low vision, so I had to learn how to advocate for myself. So the pieces of advice that I want to give are: accessibility works when you ask for it often, early, because it makes a difference. If they hadn't pulled me back to read, I wouldn't be able to read right now. So it's very important that they pulled me back, and I can read now, and I can read. I can't read large type anymore, but I listened to our books. I got hooked on one and was up until 4:30 this morning, which is why I was yawning a little while ago. But I say that to say, you all are the people that make this service go. If we don't have you to help us with the service, we're not going to reach students. So, and I cannot tell you how valuable some of the suggestions and things that I have gotten through people in the education system that have been helpful. I was really scared at Syracuse University, and I thought that I wasn't going to be able to do it. And I walked into the disability services office and I told them what I needed. And they said, "Oh, wow, you're here, great." And I had done it a semester before so that they would know. And they said that they had a student register for a disability right at the beginning of the semester. So they were scrambling to try to get them all those things that they needed. So it's better to do it early. And the one thing that I was really scared, and I looked at the lady and I said, "Well, what if I can't do this? What if I get here and I really can't do this?" And she looked me right in the eye and said, "What if you can? What if you can do this?" And it was one of the most profound things anybody has ever said to me. And I sure did. I graduated from Syracuse University. I got a job in West Virginia as a librarian. Then I moved to New York and got a job at this library as a librarian. And then as a senior librarian. And then I applied for the directorship when it was open, and I got it. So you need to remember how important you are and how you can facilitate these services for people who really would be able to use them and need them. So I just wanted to say thank you for having me. I very much appreciate it. And if there's anything you need, feel free to call, email, fax, stop in, call us, however you want to interact. We can interact with you, and we'll get you the information you need.